Hey guys, Steven Rourke here, and today we're going to be reviewing the Sparkdoll Mochiron figure. So now that I've pretty much done a review on all of my Christmas figures and my birthday figures, I think it's fair to say that we have some remaining Sparkdolls we weren't able to review that I think we should start reviewing. This being one of them. Sorry if I keep pronouncing his name wrong through the review. I believe it's Mochiron, I believe, but I used to call him Morchin, so I call him Morchin sometimes. Please forgive me, it's kind of hard. Remembering every single name of every Ultraman kaiju and now getting used to a new name, which I only figured out today for this review. However, in general, guys, this Sparkdoll, in my opinion, I have to say right off the bat, since we are in the pros right now, it has to be detail. Now, the reason why I'm choosing detail is my favorite thing about this figure. It's because that I definitely think that the detail here is, I mean, you could go on about how the design is amazing for this figure. I like how the design you might think is a little bit silly, but for it being an Ultraman kaiju, you kind of would expect that kind of look. So, in my opinion, it's perfect. I love the design for this figure, but that's something to thank the creators for doing. This is, of course, the figure, and the detail is good because I think it copies off the design of the monster very, very well. You have, with the detail, these kind of like weird looking, bumps. They almost look like, like literally barnacles from like SpongeBob right here. But of course you have details of these little ball things, these round things, these bumpy things right here, under here, and across the leg down here, the knee down. You have spikes on the sides here, which of course aren't exactly sharp, but they're like a tail here, and practically barnacles around the whole thing. And with the face, of course, there's no face because the face is here, but rather on the face you have like, it's kind of a weird design though. It has more barnacles and kind of like a thing at the top here. And then the facial detail, in my opinion, might seem as generic, but I think it actually fits it quite well. You can see like the cut-in dents here, which they did all across around the figure, and portions on the bottom, as you can see right here, and like little dents and creases right here that on purpose, these little lines, to make it almost look like, it looks like a tree trunk in my opinion. And that's what they were trying to mimic, because I actually haven't seen the episode where this guy's in. It's an Ultraman Taro, which I haven't watched. Yeah, but overall, I really like this figure for its details. It's my favorite thing. Let's move on to the next thing I like about this figure. So the next thing I have to say about this figure is, honestly, I think paint job is the next thing in line. It's definitely above average, similarly to the detail, because there isn't really any paint scuffs. A lot of the colors really stand out, in my opinion, with the red eyes here, and the black pupils, and the white teeth, the white fangs that stand out here, and these two, and just the bluish-greenish color for the rest of the body, besides this like middle part here, is just really well done for its paint job. So I really have to, sorry, I fell over. I really think that they did a good job with that. So let's move on to the cons, actually. So believe it or not, I am putting articulation as the one and only con for this figure. Of course, when it comes to Sparkdolls, we really don't find any cons that stand out, because Sparkdolls are kind of made to all mimic the same kind of, I guess, how it's, they kind of all, Sparkdolls, in my opinion, are all similar, in my opinion. Of course, the only difference is it's of a figure from the series, the Ultraman shows. Ultraman Taro, Ultraman Ace, the classic Ultraman, anywhere. It's the same company, but the way they make their figures is all the same. There's very few Sparkdolls that stand out from other ones, because they make them in the exact same style. And as you know me, I am not a fan of the way they do articulation on Sparkdolls, because they miss out a lot of places that could make up for joints. And in this case, it is actually the legs here, which move from side to side, which in my opinion shouldn't even be allowed, even if I would like more articulation, because this just doesn't look normal to me. That's what I'm saying. I don't like it when articulations like these rotate 360, because then that way you know that it can't match the figure. If you want it to kind of like move to the side here, it's not going to look like it connects with the figure sometimes. This just doesn't look right if you were to do it from this angle. So sometimes if I were to do articulation for legs areas that can't go fully, it might look weird if you, move it side, 180 degrees. Then you should probably make it unable to go past there with articulation. The arms both move 360, but what other articulation you could have done, you could have had the tail move side to side here, you could have had the head move from side to side here, and I guess that would be it, but still, these are articulation joints that they should honestly start including, in my opinion, because these would work, in my opinion, for this figure. So ideally, however, that's pretty much the only con I have with this figure. In general, I think that goes all the way down to 9 out of 10. And even if you might think that's a high rate, for a Spark doll, that pretty much means like it's a pretty good Spark doll. I don't mean 9 out of 10 as in like one of my favorite figures in my collection. I mean that as in Spark doll, sense, because that's pretty good for a Spark doll. So I definitely recommend you get this, even more so if you remember this from Ultraman Taro, because it'd be cool to have a figure you remember from the series. I don't know how the episode is, so maybe you won't want this if you watch the episode, but ideally I think it doesn't really matter, because this figure is in fact very good. And in general, like I said, I'd rate it 9 out of 10. So without further ado, thank you for watching this video. I do recommend getting this figure. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys later, and bye-bye.